Imagine a world where seeing is no longer believing. What if everything you saw and heard was a carefully constructed illusion? This is the unsettling reality that deepfake technology presents. Deepfakes are AI-generated videos or audio recordings that manipulate reality. They can make anyone appear to say or do anything, blurring the lines between truth and fiction. The implications are deeply troubling. We are entering an era where we can no longer trust our own senses. Our ability to discern truth from falsehood is being challenged like never before. The very foundation of our information society is at stake. We are bombarded with information from countless sources every day. Social media, news outlets, and even personal messages flood our screens. Deepfakes exploit this information overload. They prey on our vulnerability to manipulation in a world saturated with data. This is not science fiction. Deepfakes are already here, and they are becoming increasingly sophisticated. It is no longer a question of if, but when, we will all encounter them. The time to understand and address this threat is now, before it erodes the fabric of our society. Deepfakes are created using a form of artificial intelligence called generative adversarial networks, or GANs. Imagine two AIs locked in a contest. One AI, the generator, creates fake content. The other AI, the discriminator, tries to spot the fake. This process repeats millions of times. With each iteration, the generator becomes better at creating realistic fakes. The discriminator, in turn, becomes more adept at spotting them. This adversarial process continues until the generator produces fakes that are virtually indistinguishable from real content. The technology is evolving at an alarming rate. Early deepfakes were relatively easy to spot. They often had telltale signs like unnatural blinking or lip movements. Today's deepfakes are becoming increasingly sophisticated and difficult to detect, even by trained eyes. Deepfakes can swap faces, change voices, and manipulate facial expressions. They can make people appear to say or do things they never did. The potential for misuse is vast and deeply concerning. The consequences of deepfakes extend far beyond our computer screens. They have the potential to disrupt our lives in profound and disturbing ways. Imagine a world where political campaigns are swayed by fabricated videos of candidates. Or consider the damage that could be done with deepfake evidence presented in a court of law. The very foundations of our justice system could be shaken. Deepfakes can also be used as tools of personal revenge. Imagine the devastating impact of a fabricated video spread online to humiliate or discredit someone. The emotional toll on victims can be immeasurable. We are already seeing examples of this type of abuse. The rise of deepfakes poses a serious threat to our individual and collective well-being. It is a threat that we can no longer afford to ignore. We must educate ourselves and others about the dangers of deepfakes and work together to find ways to mitigate their impact. The human cost of deepfakes is perhaps the most alarming aspect of this technology. Behind the algorithms and the technical jargon are real people whose lives have been devastated by this technology. They are the silent victims of a crime that often goes unpunished and unnoticed. Take the story of a young woman whose face was superimposed onto a pornographic video and shared online without her consent. The video spread like wildfire, causing irreparable damage to her reputation and mental health. Despite knowing it was fake, many people believed it, leaving her feeling violated and powerless. In another case, a journalist critical of a powerful politician became the target of a deepfake campaign. Fabricated videos of him making inflammatory statements were circulated online, leading to death threats and forcing him to go into hiding. The deepfakes were intended to silence him and discredit his important work. These stories are just the tip of the iceberg. As deepfake technology becomes more accessible, we can expect to see a surge in its use for malicious purposes. It is crucial that we listen to the voices of victims and understand the very real human toll of this technology. The fight against deepfakes is a multifaceted challenge that requires a collaborative approach. Tech companies, researchers, policymakers, and individuals all have a role to play in mitigating the threat. One area of focus is developing sophisticated detection tools. Researchers are working on algorithms that can analyze videos for subtle inconsistencies, such as unnatural blinking patterns or lighting anomalies that may indicate a deepfake. However, As deepfake technology advances, so too will the techniques used to detect them, leading to a constant game of cat and mouse. Therefore, detection alone is not enough. Another crucial aspect of combating deepfakes is prevention. This involves raising awareness about the technology, educating people on how to identify potential deepfakes, and promoting media literacy. It also includes developing ethical guidelines for the creation and use of synthetic media, and implementing policies to deter the malicious use of deepfakes. The rise of deepfakes marks a turning point in our relationship with technology and information. We are entering an era where we can no longer take what we see and hear at face value. We must approach the digital world with a healthy dose of skepticism. Navigating this complex landscape requires a collective effort. Tech companies have a responsibility to develop tools and policies to combat the spread of deepfakes on their platforms. Policymakers must craft legislation that addresses the unique challenges posed by deepfakes without stifling free speech. Educators and parents play a crucial role in equipping younger generations with the critical thinking skills necessary to navigate the digital age. In the age of deepfakes, media literacy is no longer a luxury but a necessity. It is an essential skill that empowers us to critically evaluate information, identify potential biases, and make informed decisions. Media literacy involves asking critical questions about the content we consume. Who created this content? What is their purpose? What evidence is presented to support their claims? Is the information presented in a balanced and objective manner? It also involves being aware of our own biases and how they might influence our interpretation of information. By cultivating media literacy, we can become more discerning consumers of information and less susceptible to manipulation. The rise of deepfakes presents a profound challenge to our society. It threatens to undermine our trust in institutions, erode our social fabric, and distort our very perception of reality. However, this challenge also presents an opportunity. It is an opportunity to reevaluate our relationship with technology, to cultivate critical thinking skills, and to reaffirm our commitment to truth and authenticity. We must approach this new reality with both caution and determination. By working together, we can mitigate the risks of deepfakes and harness the power of technology for good. Let us reclaim reality and build a future where truth prevails. Subscribe for more such content.